Hey, what's up, more royalties? We're back at it again with another reaction video. This time we're reacting to police arrest suspect in Tuesday's subway shooting. So it looks like they already found the guy. That was pretty fast. I had no idea they're gonna find this guy. I'm not sure they had I think they had cameras. They had to have cameras somewhere in the subway to spot this guy. What, a day later? Yeah, this just happened yesterday, right? Yeah, Tuesday is yesterday. Today is Wednesday. It just happened yesterday, and they already found the suspect. So either somebody on the train recognized who this guy was, or in the camera work that was able to just match it up. No, there was a guy who saw the suspect, and they showed him, like, the cops probably came to the person and showed him the footage of the recording in the subway, like, hey man, can you match it up? And went from there. Or they got a lead from a family member. Maybe a family member got tipped off. They're like, hey, we pay you guys 50 grand if you figure out if you guys can identify this person. Maybe camera caught him, looks familiar. A relative saw the camera. This just saw whatever the New York news, NYC news that play, the picture of the suspect or footage of the suspect, and be like, hey, do anybody recognize him? Please call the hotline. We pay 50 grand. So that's what I thought. That's what I'm thinking happened. Somebody got paid off to give off, to figure out who this guy was. Just to quote unquote snitch on this guy. So let's go ahead and look further into it. Just see this lady talk and just see what's this guy's name, why it looks like. Does it look like a typical killer? We're about to find out. So, royalties, let's go ahead and get in the video.
City police have arrested a suspect in Tuesday's subway shooting. Authorities say 62-year-old Frank James was arrested Wednesday.
I mean, he does look like a person who just hate people. Doesn't he look like a Ruckus? Ruckus from Boondocks. He look exactly like a Ruckus. Like he's just out there just hate people in general. But he does have a typical. Hey, the lady, watch. I could put my last video. Like my previous video about this particular subject, at the end of this video, so you guys can take a look at it. But that sheriff, or the lady who was speaking in the press conference after the shooting that happened initially, the description of this guy is pretty accurate. I mean, bald head, big wide nose, fat lips, black guy. And I think I misheard. I think she said 6'5". He was 6'5". I think she actually said 5'6". He is 5'6", overweight. He matched that typical description. What your suspect could look like. So that's pretty funny. He's literally a big black guy, not height wise, but physically, size wise. He's literally a big black guy. Big the three B's, right? Big black guy, or two B's, big boy. But yeah, let's get back into the story. That's crazy.
Afternoon in Manhattan's East Village. New York's police commissioner says he was taken into custody about 30 hours after the attack without incident. James is accused of shooting 10 people.
Just 30 hours, so they got him basically within a day. They caught this guy, bro, within a day.
During morning rush hour on a subway car in Brooklyn. At the scene, police found a key to a U-Haul van, which ultimately led them to identifying James as the suspect. CBS News correspondent.
Wait, I was talking over that part. What did she say?
Led them to identify in Brooklyn. At the scene, police found a key to a U-Haul van, which ultimately led them to identifying James as
this dummy left his key there, and they're able to backtrack it. Cops take what? Bro, you gotta know better. Cops use whatever evidence to backtrack you, bro.
How did police track James down?
Okay. Well, Lana, police had an extensive effort here, launched an extensive effort.
Are these guys really photobombing?
New York City when this thing first began, but nationwide,
really, bro? You don't move over to the side?
Philadelphia. Authorities there were involved in the search, as well as Wisconsin. These are locations where James was known to have some ties. He recently lived in Philadelphia. He had a previous address in Wisconsin. So this search really was a nationwide search. They also reached out to the public for assistance.
I told you. Why I said they can reach out to the public.
Photos putting out James's name when he was just a
Thank you. So what ended up happening is, looks like they got the name due to the key he left back. They probably was able to skip trace to see where the key came from, to figure out the house that it belongs to, or just the area that key was manufactured in. And from there, they did further research, was able to get his name, was able to put this broadcast, because this is a nationwide search, like you said, so they're able to broadcast this amongst the people and be able to get further details of where he's residing at. So yeah, that's possible. Give within 30 hours. You've got evidence. They had evidence at the scene.
To kind of help be their eyes and their ears out here, putting out the Crime Stoppers tip line, which garnered some tips. But ultimately, it seems James may have actually wanted to be caught. We are learning tonight that law enforcement sources tell the Associated Press that James called police on himself this afternoon and told them to come pick him up at a McDonald's in the East.
Not that he wants to be caught. Sometimes people feel too guilty.
When police responded,
maybe the guilt got to him. He's like, no, I can't take this heat anymore. I got to go.
Again, a few blocks away.
I gotta go behind bars.
We spoke to someone who works at a store in that area who says that he also called Crime Stoppers when he saw James walking on the streets, on the sidewalks nearby. He spotted him on his security camera. So it seems like it was perhaps a combination of all of these things that ultimately led police to apprehending James today.
That's such an odd detail. And Mola, it also leads me to remember when we were first covering this breaking news, you and I were struggling to understand the motive. I asked you about that, and at that
point,
there's
no motive, ma'am. You can't put, when people are insane, you can't put them, there's no motivation. They're crazy. They're mentally ill. They don't need any motivation. They're just doing it because they're crazy.
We're still trying to determine a motive. They haven't completely nailed one down.
You're not going to find it.
It's been fluid.
You would never figure it out.
Along the way.
You can't be in the head of a crazy man.
Kind of more interesting nuggets that have been out there here over the last few hours are some of these social media and online postings where James rants and has some pretty intense rants with regards to homophobic nature, of a racist nature.
Ruckus, like I just said, ruckus. He's just mad at the world.
The mayor of New York City,
exactly what I predicted.
Rails against the homeless situation
he's a ruckus.
Here in the city, and the homeless situation throughout the subway systems. He gets pretty graphic, saying that he wants to shoot people. He wants to watch people die. Hours and hours of online content that speaks to perhaps his mindset in the days, the weeks, the months leading up to this arrest. Obviously, authorities have him in custody now. They're able to question him. They can learn more about him, a little more about his background. We know that, again, he recently was living in Philadelphia. Before that, perhaps he was living in Wisconsin. He has some ties to Wisconsin, a driver's license in Wisconsin registered there. He was born in New York City, spent at least a few years here in the 1990s. He has a considerable rap sheet, a criminal rap sheet, spans about 15 years and covers several states, including 9 arrests here in New York City.
Wow.
Between 1992 and 1998. These were all misdemeanor arrests, but a significant rap sheet nonetheless, meaning that he was known to police, at least on a lower level. So police still gathering all of this information and hoping to help determine a motive now that they have him in custody.
It doesn't necessarily even make sense of it, especially when you see that video of him so calmly walking to the subway before the attack. Mullah, before you go, obviously James is going to be arraigned on Thursday.
This guy really showing off his money?
What does he now face?
You guys see my point about New Yorkers? Royalties, you see my point? The guy who just walked behind him just flaunted money just because he wants some clout just to be in front of the camera? Bro, you have your own cell phone. Just be on social media. There's millions of people who just show off fake money, bro. Congrats. You photobomb a news reporter, talk about a serious topic. What a way to use this timing to do something like that, right? Yeah, New Yorkers are absolutely crazy. They're mentally ill. You see, these people, you guys can lose sleep trying to figure out getting the heads of people from New York City. You can't. You can't justify anything that they do. They're just crazy people. Absolutely crazy. And that guy walking behind them just further proved my point of royalties why you should stay away from New York City.
Well, most serious charge is terrorism against a mass transit system. Let me say that again. Terrorism against a mass transit system is the most serious federal charge that he faces.
He's doing it again, bro. He's doing it again. You have mental issues, bro.
In prison, Lana.
All right, Mola,
mental issues,
thank you so
bro.
much for joining in for all of your coverage on this story.
I killed it. That's how you do the siren, right? That's how you do it. I just killed it right there. But yeah, royalties. Yeah, that's it with this video. Again, just the moral of the story. Just stay as far away from New York City and you will be good. And yeah, guys, my heart's off to the families. I hope for a speedy recovery. And that sucks for this guy. He wanted, let's say he wanted the credit to, hey, I'm the one. It was me. I shot everybody. Well, bro, you didn't get the job done. You didn't kill, you know, knock on wood, but you didn't kill anybody. They all survived. There wasn't anybody in critical condition. There was like no headshot injuries or anything like that. You know, people got minor injuries and, you know, shot in the leg, whatever, but they will recover. Well, hopefully, you know, they get a full 100% and speedy recovery. But man, you failed. And now you're going to go behind bars for like the next 40 years because of attempted murder. Because you tried to kill people. Maybe for the rest of your life. You should be behind bars for the rest of your life, honestly. If you ask my opinion. But knowing him, he's probably going to get a lawyer and plead that he's mentally ill. Then like half the time, he only gets like 20 years. That's what usually happens in this case, like all the time. But we'll see what happens, royalties. If we get a further update, I will do another video about this. But so then, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.